ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous about this one. We've definitely firmly hit the point of the contest levels where it's just like, I'm left in the dust in terms of what I'm actually looking for in a level. I hope everybody's having themselves a good one as we find ourselves at the start of a new stream. But yes. Much like with a lot of my video game takes, I seem to be fairly old hat in that I'd prefer the official Mega Man formula as opposed to something that completely shatters that. And not just a little prefer, like, just want nothing to do with the levels that completely shatter it. And as the contests have gone on, it feels like the ones that just shatter that formula have gotten more and more common. But yes, let's go ahead and get things going for today. What'd you miss? A lot of levels that are not very fun. Okay, let's see. Like, hopefully there's at least a few of them that are what I'm looking for, yeah. Just, you know, honest to goodness, regular-ass Mega Man levels. That's what I want. I know by this point there had already been so many custom levels made that people were getting kind of tired of regular ones, but, like, I want regular ones, though. That's what I want. Oh, the game is currently loading. I mean, a lot of fan games are very much what I'm looking for. Mega Man Rock and Roll is still one of the best experiences I've had in a while when it comes to Mega Man stuff. Let's just get right to it. Alright, Torchman, what is it? Aren't you a fire hazard? Takes one to know one! Torchman, please. Ay, ay, ay. Power Man! Look at that, I think more of like pauldrons. But anyways. Bye. Interessant. Ice crystal? Okay. Yeah, that certainly fits. We're sliding already, and we got certainly a take on Blizzard Buffalo. Oh, hey, more Crystal Joes. Immediately. Yup, you called it. More Crystal Joes. Oh, hey, but these guys, we haven't seen them very much. Oh, two of the crystals back to back, huh? It's a good thing they fall in the same pattern, otherwise this is actually a problem. Alright, so obviously do this. And also just go. Interesting spot for the checkpoint, but I'll take it. I've definitely heard a lot better versions of Blues and Buffalo's theme and 8-bit. This one just kind of sounds depressed, for lack of a better term. You know, I could probably do a fancy jump to get up there. It's a lot of things to have to line up at the same time, but I could probably do it. Yeah, there we go.
Too easy for him.
Feels like there's something up there, but I'm not gonna worry about it for now. Let's just keep moving. Just jump good, forehead.
I'm the coolest.
I mean, Mega Man X, still Mega Man related. Okay, apparently both of these directions have a token. Let's try this one first. It's like Mega Man X, still Mega Man. Makes sense for the music to pop up. Oh, this is gonna get interesting, alright. Son of a bitch. One of them is gonna get me eventually. This level's definitely a head scratcher in general. It's all about the chill block setups. Yo, Melman, thank you for the 10 months. Even though it's been a little bit more for us today. Oh, hey, despawned it. That'll work. Alright, and I mean, if the other token's the other way, then I might as well just... Whee! Yeah, their lives makes a lot of things a lot more tolerable. If you had to do each stage with a limited number of lives, it'd be way worse. Ah, I see! You can actually tell with this weird blocks here. Then, you know, the token's right there. There's enough signs so you can see it. Drip, drip! You know, I don't trust this jump, not even for a second. Oh, so far, so fine. A little bit of a weird stage in that both routes have a token, so it's essentially forcing you to off yourself so you end up doing both routes, you know, the classic. Alright, it looks like it's a kind of reskin of Chill Man. He's definitely using his AI at least. The projectile's just even more annoying to dodge. Oh, they do like a bajillion contact damage, so you know, the usual. Oh, hey, now it's causing ice shockwaves? Sure! Not sure if there was a different tell there. mean, yeah, of course the boss has ice physics. It's using Chillman as a base. Let's see. I mean, this one was all about the crazy chill block setups. This is the whole stage. But they definitely had some ideas going for it. And hey, we had some nice original graphics and whatnot, so... not too bad. But it was alright. Function. Nothing seemed broken. And I mean, the crystal droppers especially were all lined up properly, so... Unless the judge comes up for something, which often happens. And aesthetics. It was mostly just purple, but I mean, it looked nice. There's a bunch of extra nice little custom graphics. The boss looked a little weird, but I mean, other than that. Alright, this stage is all about them chill block setups. Yes, I can't was thinking about the 31 months getting it's been a little bit more for us today. Yes. Alright. Lots of different ways. Platform using them. And many a dangerous little trap involving curling pucks. That is about all this stage was, though. Chill blocks and crystal droppers. Thankfully, it did not overstay its welcome. Though putting a token on both paths, necessitating playing them both, was straddling the line there a little bit. Boss is clearly using Chillman as a base, but does some different stuff with projectiles. I am not entirely sure what sent out the Ice Spike Shockwave. If there was different tell for that one, I missed it. Lots of contact damage on that fella. Ah, what we got? A nice level. This is a start. It's got an appropriate selection of gimmicks. Ice levels should have ice. Shield blocks are good for platforming, and the crystal droppers mesh well with both. The Game Boy icicles were a welcome surprise, and their introduction with Curlinger was clever. As for the enemies, Curlinger has the odd flash of brilliance, like dunking two of them in a pit or dropping one on your head with a few seconds warning. Kiranaginu is a little more threatening than usual. Crystal Joes fit well with the crystals, and Susie's a decent option to break up everything else. It's not innovative in any real sense, but it's appropriate. In general, this level can be summed up as non-innovative, but appropriate. The level design is functional, keeping something of a variety going, but it's largely uneventful. The aesthetics are a huge part of that. A mostly purple cave isn't that interesting. The most interesting visual, and this Mr. Buffalo remix is a bit too relaxing.
Like I said, it sounds a little depressed.
I also found the difficulty curve a bit lacking. There's an increase through the level, but I can't say it ever hits a serious peak. All that being said, there was one challenge for an E-Tank that was unexpectedly clever. Realizing I had to jump back from the E-Tank on a bunch of already cracked blocks got a smile out of me. The biggest design issues are Powder Man and the split path. The former is an okay boss fight, but he doesn't have a weakness, and that's really jarring. Wait, he doesn't have a weakness? Now there's a couple of functionality points. You can't
Have a Mega Man level with the boss not having a weakness.
The split path's a neat concept, but in practice I found the bottom path was poorly implemented. And I didn't like needing to die just to get every token in one sitting. Combine that with some glitches, a broken wall, and missing ice visuals. If this doesn't pan out the best, it's an ice level for sure, and it plays decently enough, but overall, it's only a start. I mean, future versions of Anchor have weaknesses, but yes, some of the Game Boy stuff had some jank. I wasn't really sure what I was getting into when I first saw this level's name. For one, I didn't even know what powder meant until afterwards. Turns out it's a French word for snow and ice crystals. With that in mind, I'd say the theming's pretty on point here. As for the level itself, it was alright, I suppose? The platforming here is relatively standard fare. Aside from two particular things, there wasn't much in here. That made me think, this is bad. At the same time, however, there were very few moments where I was actually invested in the stage. Some of the setups demand careful timing on the player's behalf, such as Ice Block plus Crystal Generator segment, along with the final stretch before the boss. But for the most part, a lot of the room layouts didn't really require a whole lot of thought to get through. They're not necessarily badly designed sections per se, just rather bland. What I do find bad, however, are the split paths. My problem with them isn't so much their design, but rather it's the fact that both of the paths contain tokens. This means that if you want to get everything in one playthrough, you need to collect a token on one round, intentionally die or retry, then go for the other one. While perhaps not that big of a deal in the long run, it did make me wish both of these paths had been restructured into one linear route. That aside, the only other issue I had with this level was near the beginning, where I managed to slide through one of the wall tiles and fell to my death!
Alright, hang on. It keeps happening, chat. I experience no bugs, and then the judges are just like, oh, by the way, this happened.
The points! They're bleeding! As for the end boss, well, I'm glad that Powder Man actually shows up. His fight is a bit lackluster. His attack patterns are very basic and easy to avoid, with the slight exception of that icicle shockwave, depending on how close he is when he uses it at least. Aside from that one attack, there's only two other notable things about him. The first is that he doesn't seem to have a weakness, and the second being his somewhat high contact damage. These are the only reasons Powder Man has the potential to be difficult, as opposed to almost anything he actually does in the fight. So with that in mind, I can't really say I was a fan of his battle, or most of his stage, unfortunately. Noun, small crystals of ice. Ah, we're just going with the definition, huh? Palette is quite monotone, and combined with the music being a rather dull loop, makes the stage overall not really that pleasant to play through.
Look, there are better things to choose than a very sad-sounding Blizzard Buffalo. You know what? Hang on. Let me see if I can find a better one just by quickly doing a little bit of YouTube search.
Blizzard Buffalo. 8-bit. I see. How does this one sound? Not bad. But a little more excited sounding, right? Anyways. Even outside of the aesthetics, the stage is pretty average as far as ice-themed stages go. Standard ice-themed physics, shenanigans, chill blocks used in ways you'd expect. There's some crystal droppers, I guess. Not really any huge problem spots, but there aren't really any remarkably remarkable spots either, just an overall average stage. Boss is a little similar to the Chillman fight, in the sense that you want to keep away from his high contact damage while dodging with the slippery floor. At least he doesn't freeze you in place. He also boasts his own desperation attack in the form of an ice wave attack. I like that you can dodge according to the animation he fires, which determines what shape the shot is going to be split into. Alright, I didn't quite notice that one, but I figured there was something. This unassuming level doesn't leave a strong impression on me. I think it's a combination of graphics, which looks nice but could use more color and texture contrast, challenge progression, slow to start, then a little jumbled in difficulty, and challenge composition, perfectly acceptable but not remarkably different from Crystal Man and Chill Man. The somber music, subdued color scheme, and patience-oriented gimmicks and enemies collectively encourage the player to take it slow. This is the ideal way to play, as the challenges seem to be built with an observe then act mentality, which I very much appreciate. I especially like the two chill blocks with Susie's patrolling overhead. the E-Tank puzzle, the token hidden in the dirt, and the sneaky icicle right before the boss door. However, impatience is also viable, and it kind of wrecks the level. Bypassing one challenge with Rush Coil allows the player to completely miss a checkpoint, for example, which also ties into some oddities with the architecture and level layout. For instance, there's a lot of wasted space in the opening stretch, ending with a brief split path that allows you to avoid a non-threatening curlinger. Nothing about the design is ever terrible, but it doesn't always seem like all the components are necessary, or like the split path goes where one would expect them to. The boss fight's pretty solid. Powder Man may not have an especially distinctive visual design, but his attack pattern is the right balance of tricky and learnable. Only wish his desperation attack would kick in at half or quarter health rather than maybe one hit before death.
Ah, that would explain it.
If he feels like it. A noteworthy special weapon vulnerability would also be nice. If nothing else, I learned that powder means small crystals of ice. Yay, entertainment! You can tell this level has had quite a bit of thought put into the design and of the challenges and difficulty that the players expected to face. The level has a pretty spot-on difficulty curve, though the intro is a little slow. The Chill Man blocks were the highlight of the stage, with a variety of platforming challenges and enemies that complemented the setups. The room with the red token was particularly good, however there were a few issues that heavily let it down. For all the care put into the gimmick placement, the level architecture has some very rough spots. The direction to go in some rooms was quite unclear. It could lead to you dying in a dead end, and often will lead to skipping a checkpoint entirely, something we did. In the room where the two paths combine, there is no indication that there is no transition to the left, and attempting them leads to certain death. This leads nicely onto the second issue. Checkpoint placement is bizarre. One of the checkpoints can be activated before progressing through the room's puzzle, the next one can be easily skipped, and there isn't another one until the boss. This makes the latter half of the stage very punishing, as by definition your gimmicks involve a lot of instant death. Powder Man ends the stage on a low note. The boss fight has a high damage output, along with a physics-based attack pattern that is hard to grasp on your first few attempts. The flesh-shaped icicle spread was very hard to dodge consistently. The ice wave has no tells, and depending on positioning, he's almost impossible to avoid because of the speed he approaches you. It's also so rare that you never expected. Yeah, it just kind of fires out when he's almost dead. I think I'll go with Flashman today. A very level, and you know what? I'm okay with that. Don't care about this guy. Next!
Ah, more crystals, chat! Crystals! Crystals everywhere!
My jealous. Oh boy, I wonder if we're gonna find more Crystal Joes! Oh, that doesn't bode well! This all features an animation gimmick where the entire stage animates at once. This includes the enemies and item drops. Some judges experience high strain and determined a change should be made. We tried to slow down the animation, but it didn't look right, so we added an option to disable the effect altogether. Shoot the switch on the left to toggle the effect on and off. Alright, let's see what it's like. Yeah, it looks like it's off at the moment. That added some loading times! I see! Welcome to the rave! I can't turn around, Chad. Chad, I can't turn around! Chad, I've entered the fighting game dimension! There we go. me the weapon menu, please? Ah! Looks like the weapon menu is normal. Okay, not only can I not turn around now, I also can't move backwards without jumping. Strange gimmick, but alright. Looks like you can knock the shields off with a charge shot, that's nice. No frame skipping at the moment, no. It's like, crap, I can only face my enemy! The map for this stage is confounding at the best of times. The best firing off a shot that blocks your shots is kind of super annoying, though, I must say. She missed not much, we've only played like one level. Alright, Token's over this way. Yeah, I was also expecting things to like wibble wobble. This is, you know, not great. But there are much more offensive things that you can have on the ice than what's going on right now. I just had to chip away pieces of that shield. Joes and Mets and 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 Joes and Mets. Yeah, I don't get to go and shield attackers! Because it's not happening this time. Instead it is I who is attacking the shield. Yeah, sure enough, now we have Joes that take 2 charge shots. Ooh. Get rid of their shield.
Sure, that didn't look glitchy at all. What are you talking about?
Alright, we're in the fighting game dimension again. Give me a sec. Question marks? I am me! Me? I am all of me! Man, how do we skip the fighting game convention from here? I see! How very puzzling! Man! It sure is unfortunate that the only gameplay going on other than the not being able to turn around gimmick is, you know, chosen Mets and chosen Mets and chosen Mets and chosen Mets and chosen Mets! Can't it just go this way? I feel like they made me skip a loop that I was supposed to do there. Oh yeah, sure, now it wants to fight! Okay, I just had to check. It's like, do I actually have laser trident? Since everything in this entire level is making laser trident noises, do I actually have laser trident? Answer, yes! Yes, I do! Look, Crystal! We need the jobs, okay? Gilgabot has people sling playthroughs to fill out today! Phew. So yeah, how are people supposed to get started with their fiestas when the crystals are missing? Now get back there! This was just confusing, to be perfectly frank. I was fairly creative with the whole locking your direction thing, the fighting game dimension as I called it. But creativity is also hitting a big old snag because Joes and Mets and Joes and Mets and Joes and Mets and Joes and Mets. Functionality-wise, we did run into a little bit of jank, but nothing too crazy. but also knocking an additional couple of points because of the splashing. Aesthetics, yeah, they're taking a hit because of the flashing, and it just all being the same goddamn color. Joseph Metz. You know, the fighting game dimension gimmick, as I dubbed it, is neat, but unfortunately, when it is wrapped in a stage that it is nothing more than Joe's and Metz, well, it gets a little monotonous. This is the color palette, at least. Very one note and monotonous throughout. Cool idea. Needed a lot more done with it. Also, level progression is just straight up confusing. With how many screens intersect upon one another. I'm pretty sure I skipped like a whole loop of a section at one point. Just by using Rush. So, yeah, kinda just did not make a ton of sense. Thinking you would be dance mix and Joes and Metz, Joes and Metz, Joes and Metz, and Joes. There was one spot where I'm pretty sure I skipped a loop because I was supposed to go like down a ladder and then loop back around and then climb back up in order to get back to the other side so I could not be stuck in the fighting game dimension. But I just went over top of an obstacle and that worked just fine. This level did not sit well with me. While Crystal Tower is fairly linear in reality, it absolutely messed with my head for the first couple of runs, and not in the way I enjoy. This is thanks to two particular details, the main gimmick and the aesthetic, neither of which work to the level's benefit. The wall lock isn't a bad concept, it's quick enough to figure out, it's telegraphed, and the puzzles are generally alright. However, it also comes with a lot of roundabout backtracking and dead-end paths, which made it hard to tell where I was going. Yeah. The dead ends might have been intended as previews of future segments, but there's enough in the levels here and now that the highlights don't really work. This is compounded by the visual aesthetic. Not only is the monochrony dull, but the complete lack of visual variety demolished nearly all sense of visual progression for me. Combined with the low variety of enemies, several of which are shielded, and the whole thing just blended together into a linear maze of nothing. That's not to say there wasn't an attempt, though. The crystal mets are kind of interesting. The crystals are a decent turret, and the Elite Joes versus the regular Joes are the one case where I could tell I was making significant progress. Unfortunately, the mets have too much shielding, the Joes tend to desync with each other, and there's really not much variety in how they're used. The poor variety is also a hit to the difficulty curve, magnifying the issues with progression and just making the whole thing a slog to play. The boss was at least entertaining, even if it was visually dull, but the rest was just kind of bleh, so I ultimately didn't enjoy this. This was a rather polarizing level for me, to put it one way. Nowhere is that more exemplified than the aesthetics. I'm admittedly not really a fan of color-shifting tiles due to how rough they can be on the eyes, unless they have smooth transitions. These ones definitely didn't change my overall opinion about them, but I didn't find myself outright hating them either. I think the soft color palette is what makes it a lot easier to take in here, so I'm at least grateful for that. Yeah, they could have chose much worse colors to blink through. It still wasn't great, mind you. It just kind of looked, but like there were worse colors. Aesthetics aside, this level itself plays out somewhat decently, but certainly not without its faults. The core mechanic of being locked into facing one direction is rather unique, yet it's integrated well with what would be otherwise normal platforming sections. There's nothing in here that's particularly challenging, but I wouldn't say that's a major issue on its own. I do think it contributes to a bigger problem, though. After the first few times I experienced the gimmick, there wasn't much left that held my interest. This isn't to say that the stage, its structure and room layouts are bad, rather it's all just kind of boring. The custom enemies help spice things up a little bit, but seeing the same 3 over and over again, and the fact that they all use the same sound effect, quickly drained their novelty. Speaking of the enemies, I noticed the Joe-esque knights sometimes face the wrong direction. This might be because of the gimmick interfering with how they face the player, but it's still an issue that could make them a complete non-threat. More so than anything, though, I mainly pin the level's shortcomings on the gimmick not being used to the fullest potential. Since most of the rooms involving it just have you going from one end to the other in basic configurations, there's one exception to this where you're required to use a conveyor belt to adjust your direction, which I really wish the stage would have played around with more. Last but not least, there's the end boss. While it's just as easy as the rest of the stage, I still found it to be a decently engaging fight. I actually really like how it incorporates enemy attacks from the stage into its arsenal, as well as actually summoning an enemy without it completely derailing the fight. And with how easy that sort of thing is to mess up, I had to give major kudos for this alone. Yes! Yeah, I'll agree with that. The fight was not exactly complicated, but there was enough to actually keep you engaged. And the extra enemies being spawned in were just, you know, they added that little bit of extra bit of micromanagement to deal with the boss. If the rest of the level is up to par with this boss, I could see this being a potential favorite of mine, and unfortunately it just turned out to be a bit of disappointing instead. Spiral of the shiny, not so shiny! Interesting aesthetics for sure, and interesting sound design choice of making literally everything play the laser trident sound effect! That doesn't get repetitive at all, no siree! It doesn't help that, like, this is the level that
It's chosen Mets, so you want to use laser trident, but if you use laser trident, then you're just adding another laser trident to the non-stop laser trident noises.
the force to face one direction gimmick is unique, I guess, but I don't think it was quite utilized as much as it's needed. It's been used for one purpose alone throughout, and it's to make the player take a longer way around an Elko so they can turn to shoot the blocks in the way. The only clever moment is when you can use the conveyor belt to pick a direction you want to face as you pass the line toggle. Overall, more of an annoyance than anything. You want to remix Splash Woman's theme? That is nothing but laser trident noises, oh god! The stage is also overall on the easy side, and it gets a little bit mundane at times, especially when over 2/3 of the enemy roster is shielded, which doesn't help with the pacing of the level. The only real threat the level provides is its mazy nature. With everything being one palette, it kind of makes it hard to navigate the place without any distinct identity for each room. Luckily, the stage is overall fairly compact. Load time has been on the long side as well, yeah, even in the more efficient final engine, that still took a while to load. Would have gotten annoying to deal with had the stage been on the harder side for sure. It's a custom boss that's somewhat unique with its design and gimmick, so that's something. Between the music and clean monochromatic visuals, this feels something like a Game Boy game, and I'm okay with that, though I'm not sure how certain elements, e.g. the hidden NPC, fit the crystal theme. And call me old-fashioned, but I believe a tower should be taller than it is wide.
Look, the tower fell over, it's fine. It's sideways, right?
Two brain-bending gimmicks are competing for supremacy here. I want to explore the unique movement gimmick through a series of carefully curated puzzles, but the maze aspect keeps pulling focus. By the end, I feel less like I've mastered a new gimmick and more like I've bumbled through enough loosely related challenges to get me to the exit. Miscellaneous technical issues scratch the polish, most notably the otherwise decent boss needs a damage flashing animation and a less comically catastrophic reaction to the player initiating the fight with Tornado Blow! What?
I don't want to go through the whole stage again to see that, but I imagine it's pretty funny.
Sometimes I forget whether the gimmick is active, which is a function of how similar the on and off switches look, and also a sign that the challenges are underdeveloped. When a genuinely clever conveyor puzzle shows up, it's a shot! Suddenly the time-tested tactic of walking to the end of the room and back, optionally breaking sequence with special weapons, doesn't work! There's so much potential for wacky platforming and tricky mini-boss fights, especially with all the interesting new enemies, but only half the level is devoted to pain and playing challenges we've seen countless times before. And we'll see them again, repeatedly, because paths branch, overlap, and loop back in seemingly arbitrary ways. At least the level was relatively forgiving, save for an absence of weapon refills. I expect players will run out of patience before they run out of health. I think this would have been more successful as a totally linear level. I see little moments of cleverness, hopping backward over a Joe, that could grow into something greater. This level starts off a bit screwy, and I'm disappointed it didn't really live up to that initial what the hell factor it had going for it. The lock direction gimmick is hard to decipher on first passes on my initial encounter. I thought it was bugged. More work on the visuals of the gimmick would have helped, but honestly the idea is kind of neat. There's a few segments that come across as strange and novel, but I think I was expecting some more puzzles. As it stands, the gimmick is barely a blip on the radar, and the back and forth nature of certain rooms feel more like busy work than the player figuring things out. I like the new versions of Sniper Joe and Metul. They don't really carry the stage, but they're functionally more novel than their stock counterparts. Crystal Giant, to give you the Crystal Met, requires a very different strategy to deal with, and being able to blast off the Joe's shields with a charge shot makes them much less annoying to deal with, yes. When the gimmick gets combined with the Joe's is usually when the level clicks well. The layout's all over the place, which doesn't help matters. Levels that are ultimately this linear should not be this confusing to navigate. I think my issues were down to just how samey the whole thing looks, because one part I detested about this stage is the aesthetics. It got very monotonous very quickly, and not helped by unsuitable music and everything being the same color! The constantly rotating palette got weary on the eyes, not enough to become utterly unplayable, but the sheer contrast in the colors just... oh, we'll see what others think. One highlight is the boss. Sure, it's simple, but it works! It's got a few neat attacks, it was fun to fight, and even refight. Just a nice end to the stage. That's only really neat with the boss. It's just something fun. Remember fun! I'm gonna go with Patchy. Who are you? A natural getaway is great for the circus, they said. Yeah, right! These cabins don't even have Wi-Fi! How am I supposed to survive out here? Oh, hey, we're at the boss. Neat. Alright. This year's been pretty weak overall. Obviously this isn't gonna work out. Oh, why's the rank just sitting here? Where's the tier boss? There's a note stuck to the rank. Whoever comes across this letter, due to undecided circumstances, I have been forced to relinquish mine to roll as tier boss. Feel free to take this tier rank with no strings attached. There's also no need to inform our benevolent genius host, Ernest Will, of these circumstances. I wish you the best in achieving a legitimate victory in this tournament. Sincerely, Tier 7 boss. Something seems off about this letter, but I can't afford to fall behind the other contestants this far in, and the sooner this is all over with, the better. Let's grab this rank and mark another tier off the list. And say, hey, wait a minute! Ah, crap! It's Bulky! Destroyer of worlds! Got the assignment right before me, and you're holding the tier rank! You sure look like a boss to me! Ah, shit! Bulky's from Coffee Kitty, a game that's all about just merging coffee abilities into completely ludicrous abilities. Thus the whole Destroyer of Worlds. I'm gonna die! I had to travel all the way. Broom woman or whoever you are, hey!
God damn it!
Maybe I should play along. Oh, if it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get. I can even use my own power stuff for myself. Power copying, huh? Oh.
Oh crap! Yeah, there it is!
Let's skip this cutscene and get fighting already.
Alright, here we go!
Oh god, yep, there's the combining! There's the freaking combining!
We're gonna freaking die, chat! We're gonna die! We're gonna die real bad! We're gonna freaking die! It's like, ah yes! Yep, there it is! There's the ability combining!
Like the moment I saw who it was, I'm like, oh, that's not good!
That's not good!
I understand what I'm in for! But there's 3 of them! Madam!
Calm yourself! Madam! Oh god!
Also, the music's a bit loud, but I mean, that just keeps happening. Oh, so close! Okay, I can just jump that. Don't figure out how to dodge that one yet! Man, I have a surprisingly difficult time with the Metal Blade Thunderbolt combination. The second one comes out just fast enough to be problematic. I mean, so many AoEs is very
Accurate to the source material!
Those are Coffee Kitty get absurd!
So, this is accurately represented!
Not again!
Could you stop spamming that? I don't know how to avoid that yet, because it's always combined with the Tengu blade at the same time. Ah!
Yeah, they can't have Bulky getting like full on.
The actual moves from the game may be completely unavoidable.
No full on protagonist powers today. Yeah, they keep on using that specific combination right after. Jesus, coming down right now, so it always does. Ish!
That would take some learning. My goodness.
I guess it makes sense this tournament would have aggressive advertising. That one of the tournament's top contestants. Oh boy. Element Man, what are you doing here?
Come back to Battle Network 6.
We're starting with perhaps one of the most unexpected top-level players, Eco Unit W3, Element Man. That W3 stands for World 3, folks. Now, I certainly wouldn't say more. Many expected a robot of your stat shooting it so far. What are your thoughts? Well, you see, I was a really OP chip back in Battle Network 6. Sorry, could you speak up a bit? I didn't quite catch that. I'm not sure if, you know what? Never mind. Elven Man, what are you trying to say? Apologies for whatever that was. We did promise more than just one interview. Ah, yes, it's this weird
design that doesn't look horrifically out of place or anything. Nope.
Service. There have been quite a few rumors about why you decided to enter the tournament. I'm hardly in this for the cheap televised glory, rather I'm here to fight for honor. Ah, honor! I would imagine that the various, like, pirate ones were all different people, because you're right, their designs don't really mesh with each other at all. They're all very different, so I'd have to imagine they were all completely different designers. Looks like that would be fairly selfish, wouldn't it? But it's any good. It does look like a weird combination of Quint and Rush, doesn't it? Well, you know, what's a good term for, like, good-natured vengeance? Because it's like, that's the feel I'm getting here. Is that there's an obvious sense of, like, wanting revenge for something. compilation? Yeah, that seems about right.
Yo, hey Mace, how's it going? It's my interview, huh? You're wasting time interviewing moral high ground chumps like this. Hey Mace, how you doing?
Fossil over here, not the strongest robot in the world! Roll, if you're watching, listen closely. I'm coming for you! Get all those ranks so we can cut through this idiocy and fight!
Mace already knows how this goes.
If you don't, I'm gonna fight you anyway! Cameraman, cut the stop!
Hey Mace, how's it going? Oh.
Where's my fire? You mandated break. Awesome, right? Gotta love the thing that orange woman. Alright. Everything's back. Okay. Which means I can clean up the spreadsheet. Clean up the spreadsheet. Looks like we're getting out of the woods. Alright, so we're starting with number 93 in the next tier then. I don't really jive with, like, any of the original rivals. I don't know, just something about all them rubs me the wrong way. Probably just that they really don't fit. Hey, Woodman, what's up? Costumes? I mean, I might as well take a look at the costume shop, see if there's anything new. Boss. Nope, nothing new. Alright, a spare capsule's crazy. Alright, well, nothing in that costume shop for the time being, so we'll go to the other costume shop. Actually, before I go here, there's one other thing I want to take a look at. Has Tango acquired any additional sleepers? Nope, still the same. Either hotel beds are really uncomfortable, or you gotta try this couch. Is there a station Pine Forest? I can take a look. Oh yeah, there is something. I do have a lack of a star labeled there. Alright, let's go. Something's been missed. Alright, everyone to the fresh fish. Hard key. Alright, so clearing a path through the trees.
Yo, what's up?
Some people like to go fishing by the moonlight. I pity the fishing house is locked shut. Well, there's no spare keycard lost in the forest somewhere.
I used the flame weapon in the woods! What? No, only a fool would do something so stupid! Where'd you even get that idea? From you! Never mind.
open a hole there. This appears to be the way back down. What's going on up here? Yo, search, man, I'm searching for something. There's leaves coming out of this tree in particular. I don't really have a fire weapon. Oh.
I mean, I guess that counts.
A strangely moist keycard bearing the name Free Fish Incorporated. Smells like pine, campfire smoke, and a bit of char. Not that kind of char, the other kind. Fish humor. Yeah,
That very much felt like an Animal Crossing joke.
bit of a jarring transition that, but here we are. Are you the volunteer that we mailed the keycard to?
Keycard, more like tree card, am I right?
I pick up a bunch of video games for a break room. Who knows where those ended up?
Then we sent away for plushies to spruce up the place and he dropped them all over the tournament grounds! One in each hub!
I'm not upset though, it's just stuff, and stuff can be replaced. There's plenty of fish in the sea, as they say. Well, assuming Arcadian isn't the one delivering the fish. I must refrain from throwing myself into
Every watery pit I encounter!
Must refrain. Okay, I'm fine now.
Are we really though? I'm not allowed in!
Okay, I have questions. You mentioned research? Cataloging every aquatic robot we find and determining if they are a public nuisance. They catch some sea critters? Yeah, sure. Here's a handy little doohickey to track your findings. I guess I can fish now! Ah, more collectibles!
As if we didn't already have enough collectibles! Here's another 96!
Yeah, I will, not be aiming to finish that. Real man! Damn, this is by a lot of people. Alright, let me go back to Fine Pine, because I need to add row 1 to below. There we go. It's been a while since we had a bonus stage. Oh, like a little real man. By, let's see, Lollipop. It's gonna take a bit because I have to see it scroll constantly. Yoshi Adam. Stolen Pyro. And RCR. Got. And decrease the text size because there's just too much text. There we go. Alright. That's a lot of fellas! Yeah, don't bother with the spoiling. Yeah, Lord, Miss for taking me to tier 1 for 39 months. You guys can spin a little bit more for us today.
Oh god! Alright, that's immediately an interesting enemy. Grab!
Get it! Hi, fish!
Ah.
Alright, a couple of safe introductions first, and then we go this way. Ah! Only get stuff moving towards you, that is very oddly specific. I can tell it really doesn't want me to try to slide through there. I'll probably just get poked. So I think we should probably do this.
Okay! That was definitely not the intended way to do that, but it works!
Just time it perfectly for it!
Yeah, we take those!
Ah! Oh. Going up. It's nice to play a proper full-on Mega Man level again. I mean, Pyro's one of the main organizers of this entire thing. Something that has probably been no end of stress for the past few years. Fair number of elements having to work together at the moment. Yeah, sure, I'll take that one up. Oh, this looks nasty. Alright, alright, alright. go ahead and respawn that. Yeah! Okay, at least it's just damage spikes. This part's just nasty. Definitely a stage that necessitates some slow and steady movement. Checkpoint! Oh yeah, sure. Gimme, gimme. Oh. We kinda gave that Spike a little kiss on the cheek right then.
What? Damn it. Okay, that one I didn't actually see. I should have expected it, but I didn't look at it in time.
I like the Mega Man 8 Relevant, but it's not available, so we're going with Classic. Shit. Fish are back! Oh, the Mega Man 11 book is also in here for roll. I just prefer this one. Oh, the good old Mega Man 4 fish, they'll never not get me. Yeah. I do hope that's gonna make its way back. Otherwise, I'm just kind of stuck here. There we go. That'll work. It may be turning, but it looks like the platforms need to be physically on screen for them to actually start moving. But he's scooping up. Ah, I see, it's fish food. Neat. Simple enough. Finally, some good food. Even if it was food that's trying to attack me! Definitely a couple of oddities in terms of, like... The big thing with this one that was kind of annoying is the fact that the platforms had to be on screen for them to scroll. There's probably an engineering limitation there, but overall still very good. Creativity.
They came up with a lot of different ways to incorporate goddamn fish.
And it did get progressively harder and used a bit more creative setups. So yeah, pretty good. But, yeah, I had a good time. It's a bit on the slow and steady side of a level, but it works. Function! I'm gonna dock a couple of points just for, you know, some jank with the platforms, but that's about it. And aesthetics, I mean, it's perfect.
It's really as simple as that.
For what they're going for, absolutely. Alright, I gotta total all this up. '81! One day, Mega Man went down to the harbor to pick up some fish for Dr. Light. When things went terribly wrong! The fish began to riot, pouring themselves out of buckets and lunging at any who drew near. The stage has a lot of fun little gimmicks to work with. The fishing lines that zip you around especially. Naturally, the platforms that get reeled in have a number of very dangerous setups. Because, you know, water level, it is gonna happen. Honestly, the only real blemish... Actually, I'm gonna intentionally spell that like real. is the platforms that require the constant reeling to move them along. Do not move when off screen, which can lead to a few different situations. Not only did I have to use... Oops. Actually, gonna fix this formatting a little bit. Spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are not unsurprisingly kind of annoying to type in. Have to use a magnet beam to escape soft locking myself. Towards the end. But it seems more people in chat had to do this exact thing instead of the intended route than not. A minor nitpick, but a nitpick nonetheless. Real Man was also real fun. Can't be a lot going on at once to keep track of where fish are gonna show up. But I appreciate things like the throwing the reel attack. Throwing the hook attack. Working off of concepts found in the stage. Namely, the sliding under hooks. That showed up a lot. A bit of a mental game, that! But fun. With obvious tells. They give just enough time to react to an otherwise pretty fast move. I very much enjoy. Let's read with Judge Me! That's still a very jarring transition. It just kind of snaps into place. Alright, on to the new tier. Costumes! Gonna immediately fix the thing that I remember with the judge text, so let me just do that. It's supposed to be bold, it's supposed to be out of rebuttal, and it is supposed to be centered. There we go. Is this another one that loops on itself? Hey there, I need a lift. I can take you up through the window. Nah, I'm good. Oh, that was Michael who passed by just now, wasn't it? I hope he wouldn't show up here. You know, when this tournament was being planned, I suggested we compete public transport, but no one listened to me. Oh, but then came Michael with his stupid mustache and his stupid name. He stole my idea. What happens? Everyone praises his genius. No one ever shuts up about him. And I've shown the door. Can you believe that? Hey, Michael. He thinks he's better than everyone else. But maybe if I look different, people will finally notice me. I mean, you got a different color palette. Everyone here's dressing up to win some contests going on. Wearing outfits and finding embarrassing hats is a sucker's game. I can make anything I want. Don't believe me? Just watch. Greetings, citizen. Under the new law, everything you own now belongs to the state. Surrender everything of value or face the penalty for refusing to comply. I wonder if anyone else will actually fall for this. I make it just a little bit richer. Man steals other people's conveyors. What a title for the first one in this tier, huh? Bye, Boxipus. Okay, sure, there's just a W back here. I get what that was for. It was for where I was stuck on Real Man stage. I suppose I could have used Ice Wall to slide under there. Seems a little bit strange using a Mega Man 5 song for what is ultimately another take on Metal Man Stage. We keep having this. But it's essentially another take on an existing stage. Though this time with radically different gimmicks other than the conveyors. Didn't react to the fact there were spikes there in time. I was too busy looking at Joe and going, that's it, I've had it, laser train's coming out. The bonus stage didn't have a Joe, but do we count that? Do we count the bonus stage not having a Joe? I don't think we count that. Okay, then we're not counting it. That's it. I'm getting retried. Exclamation point? Yeah, that seems good. Let me just jump with this pin real quick. Oh, this is gonna be dangerous. Alright, do the thing. Oh. I was stepped a little bit too far. Onto the thing, I had to be more to the left. Because what happened is it fell, my toesy touched the side of the conveyor, and then it went in the pin anyways. I get what they were going for, more like that. Pin works! Yeah. Alright, looks like 2 out of 3 of these really want you to use the magnet beam. What? It's like any semblance of Metal Man stage has been left behind at this point. We are definitely in original territory. Wait, how am I gonna get this? I guess it's time for Ice Wall. Hey, real man, how's it going? My god! This is the first one that includes Metal Man where he actually has his conveyor going in the correct direction. Also, the fight dodging feels correct? Did adding a lower ceiling just make him more in line with how he is in Mega Man 2? That'd be an interesting thing. Although I have to deal with the fact that he has much longer iframes, because, you know, this engine uses the more later titles level of iframes, which is to say, a lot of iframes. Yeah, I felt much more like regular Metal Man. What could it be? It's the first one of the day!
Whoa, that's a big one!
Ancient Infinity revealed this mighty plushies reserved only for those who do not fear their own past. Why is it so big, though? How ludicrous does that look to have following you around?
It's too big! It's too big! It's so big!
Alright. That seems alright. Very much so. The title was quite accurate. It was all about them conveyors. It only had like a couple of tricks, but I mean, it found different ways to use them. I had an alright time with this one, I suppose. Function-wise, a little bit of oddities here and there with the conveyors, but nothing too crazy. Aesthetics were very plain, though. Pretty much the usual Metal Man background mixed with a whole bunch of the same tiles and then conveyors everywhere. 27, 35, 43, 48. Well, if that ain't the most accurate title I've seen in a while. The stage is indeed all about the conveyor belts. Not a whole lot else, mind you. Other than the can droppers, which are just crystal droppers with the extra step of them being able to be stood on. They really mix together well, though. Leading to some downright dastardly setups. The tokens were a strange mix. 3 weapon required. And 1 where you can just use one of the cans instead. One way to incorporate the conveyors, or a couple of them though, including a clever use of Ice Wall, which is hard because it is Ice Wall. I'm going to throw shade at Ice Wall every chance I get. Something about the lower ceiling made Metal Man feel much better in this engine. There's something about how he attacks that does not sync up at all to how it is in Mega Man 2. But this was a lot closer. Plus, the conveyor was actually facing the correct way upon entering the room for once. Decent stage! Given the name, I was hoping for way more conveyor belt types than just Solar Mans. I'm rather disappointed with how little this leverages its own name. At any rate, this is pretty upfront with its concept, and the end result is, well, is slightly different from the average Metal Man level. It's a lot of conveyors and typical enemies avoiding most factory-inspired enemies you'd actually see in this stage, but broken up with things like mercury blocks, for the most part. This is terrible. Props for the double exclamation point warning, preparing us for the falling blocks, and the platforming is overall solid. Granted, the difficulty curve isn't perfect. The latter section is much easier than the mercury blocks. If you screw up and die getting the 4th token, you basically have to redo half the level. Still, what's there isn't bad. Unfortunately, it's also not enough. While the level is well made, it also isn't memorable. Most of that's the concept. It's a conveyor belt factory with Susies, Joes, and falling blocks. Not exactly what I'd call distinct. Chainsaw sticks out to me, if only because I like Mega Man 5's unusual enemies. But for all of Chainsaw's potential, it only appears thrice and rarely does anything. Heck, most of the enemies don't do much, even considering how typical they are. Even when they're totally absent, I don't really notice they're gone. The short length of the level doesn't help things either, meaning the place ends before it can do enough with the items he uses. I can appreciate what's been done here, but it's both not long enough and not terribly interesting, so ultimately I didn't enjoy it. I don't know, I felt it was long enough. I can't help but wonder if this stage went unfinished, since that's the general feeling I'm getting from it. For what little is here, though, I do at least see some form of potential in it. The platforming challenges, if they were given a better difficulty curve and fleshed out into a more decent-length stage, could make for a rather fun level. I really think the judges at this point have lost all perspective of length of stage because of
How long most of them are.
it's like that felt like the regular length of a Mega Man stage, but now it's just coming up as too short. I like the setups of the chainsaws in the first half, since they require some precision on the player's part, but not the point of being overly punishing either. It's just the same that both them and the series disappear completely for the second half of the stage, which instead focuses on tight jumps across conveyors. That's not to say that this is a bad thing on its own, but considering just how short the stage is, the sheer disconnect of the design between the two sections sticks out a lot more. But it's not even short!
It's an average length stage.
There's not much else here that's really worth bringing up. Again, it all comes back to the fact that the stage is way too short. Just keep harping on it. It's not even... Yeah, I played a whole stage. Yeah, through Metal Man. Sort of. It ultimately makes it feel a really forgettable experience, one that could have been a lot better if given more space to combine and flesh out the enemy setups and platforming challenges found in both segments. It's a smidge short, but it's like regular... Okay, let me put it this way, it's Mega Man 2 long. Mega Man 2 stages are very short for the most part, and it's based on a Mega Man 2 stage, so... it fits! Master Thief of Factory Line Components! It's a short level, but I don't mind it. I like the interaction between the disc enemy and the conveyor belts, making this neat dynamic with the disc it leaves behind. You need the time to jump over it. I think the gravity blocks too, where you can stand on them as they fall to the jump. As they fall to jump up to gather the tokens hovering over the pits. This meanwhile also teaches you that you can use the same trick with the ice wall. Quite a clever subtle hint there. The only problem is that there's one part with several of these blocks dispensers in a row where you have to slide through at the right moment. This can set you back quite a bit if you mistime one of them, but the stage is short as it is, so it's forgivable. My god! Yeah, nowadays Mega Man levels got kind of long. Mega Man 11 in particular can have some very long levels. I recall both Bounce Man and Blast Man seemingly going on forever. Acid Man too, actually. Somehow the Metal Man background works really well with the Solar Man tile set. Not sure if Uranus' stage theme really fits too well with the setting. Yeah, not really. The level ends with a bog standard Metal Man fight. Nothing else to comment about, really. It's a decent way to wrap up the non-existent saga of Metal Man's crimes. This is a by-the-book good level. A handful of gimmicks and enemies introduced in a clear fashion, gradually combined in progressively more dangerous ways, two distinct segments and a boss fight separated by well-timed checkpoints. Fair challenges that push players to demonstrate what they've learned so far. Thoroughly stable construction, clean, polished graphics that add interest without distracting from the gameplay. I was kind of hoping for a sampler pattern of different conveyor styles, but I think the level's better for staying focused. We've seen most of these objects pairings before, and I've waded through enough Susie blocking hallways to last a lifetime, but the level never feels derivative. I appreciate the varied architecture and effective use of spikes and sliding passages. I applaud the judicious and meaningful use of Joes. The secret room is truly sneaky. I'd even encourage a bigger reward for finding it. I mean, it's just a W tank, but yeah. I question the choice of mini-boss, and I would have liked more color contrast with the spikes, or a different style of spike altogether. Otherwise, everything looks and feels perfect for the level. Middleman and Solar Man's tile sets work surprisingly well together, and the exclamation points are a creative warning sign for the fallen canisters. Token placement is devious and fun, however I would have preferred keys where the tokens are, and tokens behind nearby doors, thus requiring the player to survive the token challenges. Drillman's witches would have worked for this purpose too. My biggest lament is the generic middleman fight. Fallen canisters feel like an obvious twist that's missing. Also, the music doesn't quite feel right for the pace of the battle. I want a little bit more from this level, but I'm happy with what it offers. Really feels like I've just played this before, in a better version of it. Indeed, it's as if you took Mercury's stage, added more spikes, swapped out some of the interesting enemies for the overused and generic, and replaced the Crusher segment and Mercury himself with a mediocre mini-boss and boss. I say that Mercury and Metal Man were some of the less memorable stages of their respective games, so once the mashup is thematically appropriate, it's also thematically dull. The sheer number of spikes and pits are the only thread of the stage, spikes that somewhat blend in if you aren't paying attention, getting a different color palette, and frankly only the sheer generic layout prevents confusion from unmarked pits. I question the use of Susies here. They don't complement the stage layout and just act as roadblocks to slow the player down rather than a genuine threat. The Chainsawers and Cypher Joes end up as slow time wasters, very little requires you to actually dodge or maneuver. The worst part is, the stage repeats its challenges. You had 2 challenges in the entire second of this... I think he was going for second half. Entire second half of the stage, and the rest feels like you just copy-pasted them. The first time you encounter the slide timing challenge does frustrate since it offers a little warning. It's coming, but the others are just repeating what you did, not 1 second previously. Aesthetically, it looks pleasing enough. Using Middleman's cog animation combined with the prettier of official conveyors helps ensure the stage isn't lifeless. And the tiling is all rather solid. The stage seems to get more and more broken and damaged the further you go in. A nice touch! I'm a fan of the trickster tokens here. I don't mind having to rely on weapons for some of these. It offers just bits of spice and distraction in an otherwise fairly sub-average, obvious, and standard level. Yeah. It's one of those things. Decent stage. There's some neat stuff. I'm gonna go with Ace on that one.
Yay, Godot, how's it going?
For some reason, I've had a hankering for coffee lately, but no one will give me any because I don't have any mouth. I'd throw the cup right back at him for that. The only problem is I don't have arms or hands. Maybe I can get a lawyer. I have no mouth and I must coffee. Everyone's been walking up to me saying, nice costume, and that scythe looks so real. Of course it does, it is a real scythe. What fool goes to a corpse party without one? You mean it said costume party on the brochure? That's just terrific! And I was planning on using this on so many here too. Perhaps I can get Hunter Woman to sign it. My God! We've actually found! Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh dear! Well, I have been warned about this stage. I have been very much warned due to being friends with the author. Hey guys, how's it going? Worthless man.
It's like, wait a minute, I see the X-Down thing.
I have a very strong sense that I probably won't like this, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, this level is technically... You know what? I actually need to add a column downward on this one. Insert row below. Because technically, this is unranked. Due to being disqualified. Alright, here we go! 1 and 5.
Look at the collection, chat! Look at them! Look at the collection! So, here's some context that's important for this stage. Guys didn't give two shits about the actual contest itself and just wanted to make something. So, keep that in mind, because there was no intention of winning here. Guys just wanted to make things. And boy, was something made.
This level's a long one, a very long one, and punishing too. If I lose my keys here, I might never find them. Why this level's so long? For one thing, time starts to add up when the end boss alone can take 5 to 10 minutes per attempt.
Oh god. Alright.
One of the tokens of this stage is locked behind the super boss that turned Fragile Man into shrapnel. I'm too distracted itching to even dare face a foe like that. Oh dear. This level is unforgiving. It's got enemies that could best be described as damage sponges and so much instant death. And a wildly difficult super boss at the end. I'm still pulling myself back together for that last one. Oh boy. If you're considering going in there, learn from my mistakes, bring some upgrades from the casino, and stock up on tanks. This level was disqualified. One judge was unable to complete it due to a migraine caused by the end boss. Unfortunately, we can't tone down the visuals. Doing so would fundamentally alter the boss fight. If epilepsy, migraines, or eye strain are concerns for you, skip the level and go left to collect all the loot. Yeah, chat! With that warning, I've now unlocked the entrance to the level, and my head hurts now. Yoshi! Ah, Easter egg. Defiance. I'm still going! What, you think this is a joke? Stop! No, we're gonna go with the pin. We're gonna go with the pin. Anyways. Oh, we have lore. We have lore. Not again. Huh. Can I just... No? I have to, like, flip a switch and then come back? Probably. Yes.
Ah, I see!
I can already see the comment about damage sponges. Nice! What if I... Hey, Top Joe, how's it going? Apparently my chassis is a repurposed Joe unit. I think I'll be finding my true potential with this body. I took figure out how to make weaker versions of other robot masters. Walked a little too soon on that one. Hardy Joan! Oh god! So many Joes!
Do we count these as Joes? They're all Joes! All Joes! What the? It's all Joes, chat! It's all Joes! It's so Jover!
Okay, that's not still make this. Nope. 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 I'm getting genuinely upset if it's Ice Wall! Of course it's Ice Wall. I guess it gets rid of the bees easy enough. That's what the Devkin block weakness is?
I see!
What? Oh god, there's a lot of dudes. I'm just gonna rush. Sudden realization of what I was standing on. Didn't quite make the slide jump. It's probably gonna be quite a bit of flashing, chat. Just put that out there. We're doing a lot of switching. Right, I can stand all these. So I need to be able to get under there. Stop! Let's just do this carefully. Didn't get the short hop I wanted there. Yeah, the puzzles aren't good. I think I can actually pull some nonsense to make this one easier, though. So let's do that. Yeah, there we go. I mean, I was trying to be careful, I just got a bigger hop than I was intended to. Short hops, you know? Okay, I'm here, I'm just gonna... There we go! To tone down the HP on some of these enemies, they do get a bit tanky. I could be using weapons, so probably make things a little bit easier.
A Chinese cartoon. The Cho. Oh God!
Oh my God! You know, Cutman's not a very good stand in the grand scheme of things. No contact damage on it, so I can just kind of move around. Oh, that is certainly a noise. Oh God! See, that's a bit more like it.
You want to stand? That'll work. Ah, God, I'm stuck.
No! Yeah, Metal Man, on the other hand, is a very good stand.
It's like, yeah, that's how Metal Blade goes.
Oh, here we go. for break dash? This could be a tricksy one. I meant to slide jump here, but we didn't quite get it. Alright, I wasn't really paying attention to where the platforms were at this time. Oh, you can see them. You can see them. That's good. Son of a bitch. Not again! Yeah, I'm kind of surprised there wasn't the stage still. Oh. Because the flashing back and forth, while not a very particularly sudden flash, it's a flash nonetheless. Ah! Game just ate my jump! Yo, rank up, fast gun! Ah, here we go. Good checkpoint placement there. Yep. This is gonna be tricky. Got it! Yeah, this has worked out in a lot of other cases. Let's do that. Oh, hey, platforms! Yeah, these are situations where it's just not much point in actually fighting most of the enemies. Yeah, and notice again, fairly consistently, they hit the switch again on the way out. That's one of those things I would do just to test to make sure it breaks anything.
And then it's like, no, the stage just wants you to do that.
Darn. Well, here I thought this would maybe be a transition, but nope. Okay, just checking. So now I'm gonna go all the way back up. Having a day and not quite getting short hops, but that's on me. Pressing the button ever so slightly long. Just a second. Really? The exact same spot?
Short hops, why you failed me so?
Okay, I should probably just do this here. Yeah. Not even risking it.
I'm too far up here to risk that.
And a quick round back down. Always appreciated. Alright, here it is! Okay, which one is the easier version first?
We're fighting the easier version first, chat. I may as well learn what it's normally like before we go into the questionableness.
yes, I immediately see the splash wood bases. There's definitely a lot of health bars on the higher version, isn't there? Yeah, that's about what I expected. Advantages to knowing the person that actually made this.
If there wasn't bullet hell, I'd be very surprised.
Oh god, what are we doing? Getting lasered, that's what! Good first attempt. Ah! Really shouldn't have gotten hit by that. Oh no, the Y button's sticking again! Oh, I actually had to turn on auto charge! Because that button keeps sticking, well. The controller's not even that old. Damn it, Microsoft.
Yeah, MAGMML's literally killing my controller from having to hold the charge down all the time. Unfortunate.
Gotta not be getting hit by those, they do a lot of damage. This one's kind of ridiculous. It shifts directions a bit quickly. The rest of them, though, it brings exception to that being kind of tricky to dodge. I gotta stop getting into the latter half with almost dead. I'm saving my tanks. I'm gonna need them later. Okie dokie, that's the normal one.
Let's see how stupid this gets.
Don't get so excited, boys! Those were the easy ones! More health bars? Oh, good! 5 health bars! Okay, yeah, we're definitely in the Toho dimension now! Yeah, immediately I can tell it's a good thing that I actually fought the regular version first, because the attacks use similar things.
Oh, good! That one's even more ridiculous!
Way more difficulty with that than I should have. Oh, there's fire being left behind! I'm gonna give it a couple of cracks before I start burning. No, before I start burning tokens. I mean, not tokens, tanks. But I am definitely
Not trying to do the entire thing without tanks. That'd take too much practice right now.
Of all things, like the biggest thing that's kind of threatening for me is them just deciding to shoot straight ahead. It's the fast attacks that I have the biggest problem with. But, like that, something as simple as shooting straight ahead. Because I can never react to it in time. Severely limited. Too much fire.
Oh god, homing projectiles. Alright, we got straight up Mega Man 7 projectiles. It's a good thing I'm familiar with those.
That's a slide. Yeah, at least they don't have status effects. Yeah, that fast triple shot is just kind of nuts. Stop getting hit by that! That one I'm never gonna stop getting hit by, because it's the same start of the animation as another attack! But I only noticed that it's just pointing straight ahead the last second! Jack! I'm kind of stuck here.
as you can see, I have an easier time with the slow moves than the fast moves. Because, you know, I can react to those.
I'm gonna get hit by that every single time. It's just how it is. Yeah, waiting for a good run before I start burning tanks. Like, I kinda wanna see more of the moves when possible. This one's also been giving me grief. Well, I've played enough bullet hells to have an idea of how to work with a lot of this at least. Yeah, that came out a lot quicker than expected. Slide! Damn it!
I can't move!
No!
Oh, I should have actually dodged that once! By accident!
Hard to pay attention when I haven't actually seen that
Explosion attack before yet! Oh, God!
too early again. The dash is,
Shockingly slow!
ah! That is just really hard to react to. Yeah, no, it's really quite pinned there. Not much I can do. There's a lot of flashing during this bit. I can see how it can cause troubles. Oh, yeah, shit. Like I said, I'm gonna get hit by that every time. If I start taking all these early hits, I might actually feel good enough to start using E-tanks, but there I am, almost dead again.
It keeps happening!
Oh, I'm pink. Getting some real bad luck on the RNG fire right about now. Yup. Well, that's just it. It wasn't. It was disqualified. Here's one of the parts that's giving me the most trouble is the only RNG element. This is the fire! You know, and then the actual choice of attacks. Fire, would you please stop pitting me?
Excuse you! Excuse you! You wanna run that by me again?
Some flashbacks to nonsense mech history polls.
Don't look under there! Bad things under there!
behind this. The visual effects here a bit much, and some of the attacks come out too fast, but like... Does it fit the contest? No, but it's not like you were trying to. Is it too much? Absolutely!
But at the same time, it's you! I know what to expect!
God damn, am I happy I'm
Familiar with Mega Man 7 projectiles? Jesus Christ!
Okay, I think this is the time. Last kick! And I want your literal sense! There's no universe where I react to the fire suddenly going away in that exact second. Alright. Wait a second. I can hold on for just a second longer.
Oh god! Ah! E-Tango!
That's getting awfully fast! Much easier to avoid that time. Oh no, what the reboot hell is going on around here?
3D? What do you mean 3D?
Oh, that's disoriented as shit.
So reminded that Geist does know a thing or two about programming! To say the least!
Final phase! Oh, this is gonna get stupid, I can already tell. This may not be real force beams! overloaded. Well, I checked.
Oh no!
I'll take that.
Only 3 it takes. Oi, oi, oi. Extra thing with the 10,000 minis. Holy shit! Boy, am I glad I played MAGMML3. No, I wasn't torturous at all. It was too long, obviously, but I mean, like... This is one of those ones where it helps to know the person who made it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
Speeder, bigger than 32 months.
We have defeated Toho with some E-tanks. A little bit of chugging. I did drink 3 of them.
Admittedly, the big energy between each phase is very much appreciated.
Victory! Yeah, it's just like, oh, it's very impressive. It's in the wrong place, but it was very impressive.
And yes, there's a lot of flashing bullets issues.
I can easily see why this gave Ace some nasty migraine. It's like, yeah, absolutely. That's a lot of flashing. Anyways, it's not a Mega Man level, but I guess I'll give it a score.
Let's see. I mean, it was mostly the exact same setups of the switches over and over again, with the one thing being, of course, the climbing section. That was definitely creative as well. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of creativity going on with the boss,
But I mean, oh God.
the stage could have used a bit more, though. Let's see what I'm gonna land on with this one. Fun, I mean.
The flip-flop for this is pretty extreme. Oh.
Yeah, they hunt 10,000 bits will do that.
We're gonna take him with the 100 minis as well. My God. Well, I mean, the flashing bullets were also a problem on top of the animated background.
I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of people who like Toho. I'm okay with Toho. It's one of those things. It's one of those fan bases that's always out there, but never so insanely loud as some other ones.
Well, I mean, there's a difference between get good and, you know, not get absolutely motion 6.
I realize you're being sarcastic.
Not much can be done about actual migraine and motion sickness from a lot of bullets that go flashy flash.
Wait a minute, that's a character name.
And there, cool, you think we're giving a sub over to Star Wars?
Ooh! Yeah, that was proper Toho. I mean, it makes sense. Guys have made several bullet hell games in the past. Several. One could say they're quite experienced. And what the hell with the 3D, though?
What arcade wizardry is that? I'll get to the reviews in a second. I'm still considering how much fun I had.
particularly interested in bullet hell either, but hey, every now and then I suppose I can take a little dip into uncertain waters. Function, I mean... I can't really not... I didn't really run into any Jagger issues or anything else like that, but I mean...
I'm still gonna have to give that one a big old zilch just because it's really, really hard on the eyes.
The actual stage aesthetic isn't much, it's mostly just... The backgrounds are nice, but the stage is mostly just gray. Alright, so what's this all total up to then? Yeah, that's about on par with all the others that have been ranking around this range.
Hey, wait! I know this guy!
I had context for this stage. Going into it as just being a passion project, rather than any real intention to make something for the contest. Thus, the actual, content here makes full sense. Also knowing the individual lets me not be surprised
Whatsoever by the, how shall we say, gratuitous excess that is this entire experience. Honestly, experience is definitely the right word instead of the stage.
This is not really one I can criticize much, because it is so far outside of my wheelhouse. It is kind of crazy. I can at least say a bunch of the visual effects are quite hard on the eyes. Some of the disqualification and just overall motion sickness warnings makes sense. There's a clear and large amount of effort put in. But not everything clicks with this one. I gave the super boss an honest shot and ended up having some fun.
But I would not want to fight something like that very often. Getting too old for this shit. Can always count on Geist for some truly brain-bending bullet hell patterns. God dang, 3D and Mega Man going on right now. Yeah, play if you dare.
Alright, I should all said. Alright, and also, not a Mega Man level, but I mean,
It was never even really trying to be one, was it?
This level. I don't hate this by any means. The Joe Masters were a useful obstacle, and a neat twist on old bosses. The day-night switches were a lovely mechanic with an excellent variety, including optional rewards for switching even when it isn't necessary. And the level design from an outside perspective seems conceptually sound. Unfortunately, this is bloody hard to play. The Joe Masters have entirely too much health, that is true. to be the sole enemy type of the level, only exception being the completely invulnerable top Joes. Not sure if that's an improvement.
Yeah, his shades are broken. Larvae glass in the eyes.
As for the day-night switches, if you screw up even once, you've either fallen several feet or you're dead. Either way, you can lose a ton of progress for one mistake, and it's not easy to make that back. Combine that with a level that's over 50 screens long, and whatever interesting design there is gets muffled by a severe frustration factor. You know, I didn't have too much difficulty getting through the stage itself,
Other than, you know, failing short hops pretty often.
We've had some zeros throughout. Not like full zeros, but like zeros in single categories at least. I wouldn't be surprised if my fun score seems lenient compared to the others, because this really was a slog.
Yeah, that was all the same level. I was on that boss for a while, understandably so. I wasn't sure how difficult the later phases were gonna get, so I didn't want to pop my E-tanks until I was sure we had a good run going. And we had a good run going, so I popped my E-tanks and I only needed 3 in the end. Whoops. Probably could have done that sooner, but oh well. I got some pretty good dodging in there.
It looks good. There are a number of boss fights to break things up. Sadly, they're not really an improvement of the level's faults. Honeyzone is an okay fight, but the gravity shenanigans and her jumping behavior takes more time to get used to this than she necessarily allows. Joe starts fine enough, but the Metal Man phase really needs to slow down on the metal blades. Yeah, probably. Lunar Woman herself, she's fine, up until she starts firing 20+ flashy speedy bullets all over the screen. At that point, even just parsing her attacks can be a challenge, never mind dodging them. I have played some Toho in the past, that's why I have some bullet hell experience. And I played Megamari and enjoy Megamari, so I've had some experience with dealing with bullet hell patterns in a Mega Man engine. Now, that said, in Magmar, your hitbox is as tiny as a normal bullet hell game, so it makes it a lot easier to dodge those things.
So that's something important to note. But, you know,
I've experienced these sorts of things, I just don't particularly care for bullet hells. Usually because they require an excessive amount of repetition to completely memorize and master patterns. Which is fine, but I just don't really have time for that these days. But I happen to know that Geist is a enjoyer of bullet hells, and has in fact played many of them, including things that are
far beyond anything that Toho will ever throw at you, so...
But Celestial Woman, she
Towards her own paragraph. I can see a ton of effort went into this, and I admit, she's really cool to watch.
Going through a recording, I can tell every attack is avoidable, and it's good that you get health every time she drops the health bar. I mean, life bar. I wish Lunar Woman did that between phases. Yeah, Cave is definitely one of them. Unfortunately, Bullet Hell and Mega Man mix extremely poorly, especially when the boss's 5 phases, takes less damage, and spends a lot of time out of reach. By the way, what the heck was the weakness? Because I didn't even try.
Yeah, guys can do worse than this. By a lot. This is still excessive, yes, but they had the power to do far more.
Laser Trident at 2 damage? Oh, wouldn't have made much difference.
The charge shot works just as well.
Especially when the boss's 5 phases, takes less damage, and spends a lot of time out of reach. Yeah, that was kind of annoying, especially during the segments where it did Trident attack, then laser attack, Trident attack, then laser attack. Some of the laser attacks being completely out of range did drag things a little bit. She takes nearly 8 minutes to kill on a good run. The average Mega Man stage can usually be done in 3. I used up nearly every tank I had against her, and if I died in the later phase, I needed to restart the entire level because of restocking issues. Thankfully, that's less of a problem in this. You can actually, like, exit out of the stage, go restock in the vending machine, and then restart from the checkpoint, so if you run out, you can just go restock. But I didn't really want to leave the level. Yeah, okay, yeah, Spark Chaser would help with those. Oh, was fun fighting Buster Only, at least.
I think that last one gets a little, I mean, they all get a little ridiculous. The one with the, like, bullets you have to crisscross over while the lasers are getting faster and faster, that one was ridiculous. The last spell card was ridiculous. It's all ridiculous. So ridiculous. My brain's just parsing that like, oh god, what do I look at? Do I look at where the bullets are coming from, or do I look at me? I went with looking at me and it mostly worked.
Going through this behemoth all over again just for another fair shot. She's basically the epitome of this level. Really cool in concept, but the execution is just, it's too much.
Too much is kind of guy's signature card.
Despite a few questionable things here and there, my initial impressions of this level were pretty good. The more it went on, however, the more frustrating it became, and it quickly began to wear out its welcome.
I mean, yeah, but like, Stall Woman stacking shields was very much a bug. It wasn't supposed to happen.
I actually got a comment on my YouTube VOD from the maker of Stall Woman, and they were just expressing their frustrations and
Trying to get the things playtested properly. And yeah, I get that. All the playtesting info they got was at the last minute, and by then it was too late to fix some of the things, and none of them actually figured out that the shield stacking issue was the problem.
Like I said, though, things didn't start off that way. The main gimmick, while essentially just an on-off switch for platforms and lasers, is made more interesting thanks to how much influence it has over the room layouts. There's some genuinely good platforming challenges centered around them, especially in the first half of the stage. The room immediately after the first switch is one of my favorites, since you can actually choose between the day or night versions of that section. I really wish the level had more rooms like this, as it would have added a lot more depth. What's there in the first half is still pretty good, though. I'd say the only thing that really bogs that part, and unfortunately the rest of the level down, are the Joe Masters. While the idea behind them is fine, fighting them is more tedious than not due to how overly durable they are. It's made even worse when you consider that most of them are unavoidable as well. I did avoid a lot of them by tanking damage, mind you, but I avoided them. Well, even the level wasn't exactly a Mega Man level.
It was incredibly long for a start, like going way beyond any sort of length of a Mega Man level. It had, you know, Robot Masters as mid-bosses, which is not exactly very Mega Man in flavor either.
Like full-on Robot Masters instead of just a quick mini-boss. And oh baby, that's even more instant death than any Mega Man game can ever shake its stick at. But yes, it at least wasn't a sprawling labyrinth of a Metroidvania. It was ultimately linear. Yeah, it's 2 times the screen length, but also the screens themselves are way more complex. Yeah, it's one of those things. There ain't anything better than having somebody else playtest your stuff. Like, even with Super Fiki Art World, I had Rome playtest most of my stages. And that ended up working out pretty good. I found some various issues, and that got all fixed up. And everything was able to be released as it was. Sadly, neither of us came across the couple of glaring issues.
Like the one in 4-2.
Sadly, the level's issues don't end there. Once it hits the halfway point, some of the challenges go from tough but manageable to downright annoying. The vertical climb segment is one of the biggest offenders. The thing that confuses me the most about that part is the lack of indicators for where the blocks would be in the first half. The background tiles serve as telegraphs for the second half, so why not have them for the first part? That really could have alleviated some of the frustration factor with that whole segment. The on and off indicators was a little bit weird, I'll have to say. Then there's the boss fights. Well, the 2 mid-bosses aren't anything to write home about, except maybe for the Metal Man stand throwing blades way too frequently.
See, that's universally agreed on.
The end bosses are a completely different story. The woman is pretty rough, thanks to her double health bar, high damage output, and high projectile patterns. It's doable without T-tanks, but it does take some practice. The same could not be said for the other end boss. To say the Celestial Woman goes overboard would be an understatement. Yeah. She is, without question, the most difficult boss out of all the entries, but for all the wrong reasons. 5 health bars, each with a unique phase and desperation move. Attacks that deal huge damage and take up massive screen space. Projectile patterns that are near impossible to avoid. Phases that are often have her floating out of the player's reach for extended periods of time. And it just goes on and on from there. All this adds up to a nightmare of a fight that lasts for too long. The health items you get after each phase transition don't really help much. I disagree on that one. Those things allowed me to learn a lot more phases than I would have otherwise. Considering any benefit you get from them can be erased with just a few mistakes, and you will be making mistakes in this fight, a lot of them at that. The absolute worst part about all of this is that prior to skip teleports being introduced, it was required if you wanted to get the final token. Yeah, that's where I have the issue. In short, this stage and the bosses could have done with some major toning down in several aspects. There really shouldn't have been a token on the boss. That's the big one that I had to kind of figure where to go at. It's like, okay, if we're gonna go this overboard, at least make it fully optional.
No collectibles behind it, please. Please. Why you gotta do this?
No worth in self-depreciating. That celestial fight, it's not really an optional fight now, is it? When you lock an item behind it, that counts towards completion. 5 bars of health, while the boss doesn't have... Yeah, the boss should have locked a happier story ending instead of a token. Yeah, the writing definitely needed some tweaking by the sounds of things. It's one of those things, I can't really say much about that because I am A, not a writer, and B, not familiar enough with the concepts to have much say on that. It's like one of those, I'm gonna stay away from that. 5 bars of health while the boss doesn't have nerf damage, it has no weakness and too much of an invulnerability window between phases. While Mega Man still has his chunky hitbox for the bullet hell patterns, it's definitely impressive programming-wise, but the fact is that it still doesn't make it a fun or fair fight, at least for me. Sorry, but I just don't find these kinds of fights very enjoyable despite what my persona's based on. Yeah, that is kind of funny. Points for self-awareness, Patchy. The normal version's fine, though I'd still give her a more prominent weakness since she's still an airborne boss with more than 1 health bar. Alright, there was also a stage, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes.
I really like the use of the sun and moon switches, creating the beat-swapping platforming challenges, although kind of a bit demanding at some parts with the strict timing. It's satisfying once you manage it, though it could really use another checkpoint after that one laser pick crossing section. The JoJo enemies, while interesting to have them use the same attack patterns as their boss counterparts, really would appreciate them having less health, you know? That one Gyro Joe at the end was especially a huge slog when you want to go for the token, but keep dying to the tight jumps between lasers. Though I don't understand what the relation is there between JoJo and Celestial theming, the stage really commits to the JoJo-jokes. The enemies, Jotaro mini-boss, JoJo music, tarot cards, I guess? Two critical aspects of good level design are knowing when to give the player an advantage and recognizing when something needs to stop.
If these things are overlooked or ignored by the developer, it doesn't matter how catchy the music is, how stunning the parallax backgrounds are, or how gloriously inventive some of the puzzles are, the level and its garbage difficulty are going to make people like me upset. Oh no. Oh dear, here we go.
Between fighting exhaustingly durable enemies who are uniformly weak to laser trident and nothing else.
So, are you saying, Flashman, that what we have here is a stage where you just use laser trident? That list is growing! How many stages are we gonna have that comes down to just use laser trident?
Backtracking for tokens and easily losing progress with the slightest mistake. I'm looking at you, miserable Top Joe tower climb. It can take an extraordinarily long time to reach the next checkpoint. It's not unreasonable to ask for more health refills between checkpoints. Consistent use of background graphics to indicate where the day/night blocks will appear. The ability to use invincibility frames to sneak past lasers, and any weapon refills at all. I will say, I'm very happy I was able to handle the platforming challenges relatively without too much difficulty. Because, oh boy,
if we died more often, that would have taken a lot longer.
Level length is out of control. Fewer screens and less demanding puzzles, especially in the last third, would have helped tremendously. I could have done without the mini-bosses who make the level even longer. Honey Joan is essentially a Joe Master.
Joe Bot Master? Question marks?
with a health bar for some reason, and Jojo Joe's.
Jojo Joe seems more appropriate as an end boss or secret boss. Jojo.
I appreciate the ingenious method of earning the final token. I do not appreciate a 10-minute struggle requiring almost every tank I have to survive. The end of an overlong puzzle level is not the right time to go full on Toho.
Well, that's a good point, honestly.
The biggest shame is that I started off loving this level. There's a sense of humor, a tangible difficulty progression, and an engaging narrative, but by the end, I was annoyed by technical inconsistencies and utterly burned out on relentlessly punishing challenges. Can't do this one! It fell at the last hurdle, but that boss... It's such a severe laser show, the entire screen more or less getting filled with flashing lights and rapid imagery. And it caused severe migraines. Just can't do it. This is physically impossible for me to do when I can barely look at the screen. I can force some things, but I draw the line at physical pain. Yeah. Short and sweet. It's like, caused migraine, can't do. Not sure who I actually jived with the most on this one. Honestly, probably Mick. We'll go with Mick.
Alright, that was an ordeal.
Hey, tonight. I wish to find this world's strongest warrior. Will I find them at this tournament? There are many promising fighters. I'll get a compliment about my costume. If they only knew the battles this blade had seen.
Hey, Punk dressed up as Mick!
I kept getting thrown up because all my costume ideas were too sharp and spiky for them. Well, how about this? I may look daft, but one touch and bam! You pop into a ton of colorful orbs. Or bland and boring white orbs if you're a vanilla normie who supports the man, unlike me. Hey, I
have the rainbow explosions on! Shut up, Punk! Alright, so that was a diversion. Let's do one more regular stage to wrap things up.
Rock Fortress! Yeah, it's one of those things. I think the thing that really helped with me with the previous one is just having the predisposition of
being very familiar with Guy's creative works. And also having played enough games with similar enough concepts.
Yo, this song, though! Oh, hey, Joe!
We have not had a single stage without a Joe today! Not even one!
You know, after the JoJo Masters,
regular Joes don't seem so bad!
Chosen Mets and Shield attackers!
The three are here at last!
Placeholder Yoga Blog graphics again. You can actually tell where they're gonna spawn, so that's nice. The Terrible Trio returns!
Gang's all here! Go Laser Trident again!
Yo, yeah, we definitely had some rad bosses today, though. Freaking!
The second I saw Boki, I knew I was in for trouble. It's like, oh god! Hi, Coffee Kitty, how's it going? I'm gonna die! I don't think I'm very much in the good books when it comes to any chance of being a judge. my, let's face it, narrow-minded views on Mega Man levels don't really mesh so well. Like, I ain't afraid to admit that my views are narrow-minded. And my reactions often reductive, but you know, that's just what I prefer, you know?
Ah, it's force beam time again. Damn it, didn't quite get the shield, the slide jump in there. Force beams are a lot less common. They show them fairly often, but not that often. But yeah, this is essentially all the overused Mega Man stuff in a row. I'm gonna die.
Worth it!
I mean, if I was actually doing proper nunchucks, then I would do multiple playthroughs, yes. But you can't really do a very, great assessment off of, knee-jerk stuff. Meg Daddy returns! Okay, wait, it was Laser Trident.
Hey guys, we're using Laser Trident again! Try to contain your amazement!
Yeah, I'm just gonna equip Laser Trident. Give my thumb a break for holding down the Y button and just, you know, accept that this is Laser Trident City. Auto-scrolling? Oh, okay. At least it's not X6 beam. Please, damn it! Damn you, Susie! Oh, it's lagging a bit. Alright, who are we fighting? Coffee robot! Oh god, even knowing that it's time for Laser Trident. Yeah, it's a very slow version of Spire Chaser for obvious reasons. We're getting into the interesting bosses, it seems. That was a good palate cleansing. My god, Yoka block sections that are actually perfectly manageable because you can actually see where they're spawning. Crazy, right? Yeah, that one was actually pretty good. I feel like that should have been a little bit higher even, but we'll see. Let's see. Wasn't much going on other than the Yoku and force beams, and okay, this level's downfall is that it uses all the most overused gimmicks in the entire series. Like, that's just it. It's like, what does this use? Force beams, Yoku blocks, Mets, Joes, and shield attackers. That's why it's here. Because it uses all of the most generic things in the entire series, to the point they didn't even swap the Yoku block graphics. Yeah, so what those pattern was doing there, Jen, is that every single one of them where it spawns directly above you, they had a wait period. So normally Yoku blocks go like boo, boo, boo. But when it spawned directly in front of you, that middle was nothing, so it was boo, boo. Oh yeah, the 10% time penalty, yeah, that is right. Yeah, dock a bit just because of the overused stuff, but hey. Creativity, I mean, it was essentially just a fortress stage, but still fine. Fun! Yeah, I actually surprisingly enjoyed this one, despite the gimmick selection. Function, everything seemed to be functioning just fine. To the point where, especially with the indents for the thing, I'm gonna take like 1 for the boss, because some of that stuff just seems really impossible to react to. Just like the original copy robot. Aesthetics is where it's gonna hurt. By being kind of Wily-esque in his stage, it was very boring. It's just the same design constantly. It looked kind of like the beta graphics, except polished up to look like they came from Mega Man 9. I'm a stickler on aesthetics, what can I say? Yeah, 55, pretty good. Oh, this stage. I feel like this would have scored higher if it did something other than use literally the most overused everything in the entire series. Now, do not get me wrong. I liked this stage, but you really went with Yoku blocks, force beams, Mets, Joes and Mets, and shield attackers! I do not think I could name a single more overused set of stuff. It was used well, though. Minus the Joes. They just kind of existed. I genuinely really liked the visible indents for where Yoka blocks would spawn. It let me jump out to go along them without having to sit there and see what the start of the pattern was like. They were all so consistent, minus like one singular fake out later into the stage. So I felt I could... Oh, the wrong thing, mistake there. So I felt I could trust in the level design. And that trust turned out to be good. Speaking of questionable choices, the copy robot? Really? I mean, it is less bad than Mega Man 1, but falls into a lot of similar trappings, where you can very easily get cornered. I do really appreciate nerfing several weapons on the copy robot's end to make them more dodgeable, though. Overall, oh yeah, alright, and the aesthetics, while pleasant, are monotonous. Downside of doing a Fortress-esque stage is kind of samey. Not too pleasing aesthetics that comes with the territory. Good level overall. Did enjoy. If I were to describe Rock Fortress in 2 words, it's pure design. I'm glad you can see where the Yoka blocks spawn, since it means less guesswork, and I found the force beam sections played pretty well. The gap bombs and the auto scroll also play fairly smoothly. All the gimmicks work. Everything works. Works nicely. But I found they got too punishing too quickly. The auto scroll especially. Your first time with the gimmick shouldn't be so willing to kill you for a single mistake. And there's quite a bit of auto scroll to get through.
Hey, at least it's not X. These reviews will have been written before X6 meme was even submitted, I think? Or maybe... Well, either way. Some of these might have been written before X6 meme. So... the auto-scroll comment is kind of funny. The enemy appearances were respectable across the board, or at least none of them stuck out as bad. Although I can't for the life of me remember any individual encounters besides Copy Robot. And that's mostly because it was a custom boss. Even then I actually forgot if it was the custom at first. Everything ran together so thoroughly that I initially thought it was just another dev kit element. You can never escape X6 beam. And that leads into the big flaw. While none of this level is badly designed, it completely fails to be interesting. All the concepts presented here are ones I've seen before, and none of them inspire much reaction. Even the aesthetic, while technically sound, is ultimately just generic Fortress. It feels like it was churned out by a factory, essentially. There's very little life to this place. Rick has kind of hit the nail on the head here. Everything is designed well, it's just very... average. As a result, I didn't find this very fun, and it's certainly not interesting enough to be worth a replay. Sure, it's well designed, and it's clear there was plenty of effort put in, but all the design of the world won't help a level that feels lifeless, and this feels lifeless. First impressions on this level are pretty good. The overall look of this stage is nice, the music's great, and nearly every enemy and gimmick is introduced fairly. All was going well, but as the stage went on, I had to admit, I gradually lost interest. I think the reason behind this is that while the stage design is relatively decent, it's also a bit on the generic side in terms of enemy and platforming challenges. And granted, you don't need to make something complex in order for it to be good, but a little more creativity can go a long way. Most of this stage is really forgettable, with the exception of a few things here and there. One of the more notable moments for me was when I tried to go down a ladder to a previous section and immediately died. I realize this is probably to prevent the player from easily getting the token in the room prior,
but I feel there were better ways of doing that.
Besides, none of the other ladders in the stage do this.
Aside from that, there were only 2 other times the stage stood out to me. The auto-scrolling section and the boss. For the former, I felt like it was a bit too tight in some parts, especially when the Yoka blocks showed up. They really weren't the type of gimmick that's well suited for fast-paced sections. Then there's the boss. It's not terrible, but much like the stage, his fight is really basic. His iceball attack feels a bit off since it's projected a good distance away from his buster. But other than that, there weren't any other issues I found. The aesthetics and difficulty curve are certainly here, but this stage needs more interesting segments in order to really shine. Yeah. Don't make Fortress stages. It's as simple as that. Fortress stages are consistently the weakest stages in the official games as well, and it's because they're just kinda dull. Familiar Fortress, Familiar Foes. A fairly standard stage with a lot of commonly used gimmicks, but it's not a bad stage either. The difficulty curve is well adjusted, gimmicks are introduced at a good pace. I like the touch of the lasers shooting into where the player wouldn't be, just a room before the actual laser section so you can get prepared for them. That is good. The stage could have been way more evil, for sure, with all the yoke blocks and count bomb spike sections, so thank you for showing restraint. Restraint! In contrast, the enemy density seems a bit barren? Perhaps it's due to the short length of the stage that it cannot fully utilize its enemy placements. The final section can be a bit mean too, since there's a long string of yoke blocks near the end of the auto-scrolling session. Missing even the first cycle means that you won't make it. The boss is a copy robot-like fight, and it's quite chaotic as expected for a copy robot fight. It fights technically predictably, as its attacks operate under a timer, but it can still be tricky to predict exactly where the attacks are going to appear on the fly, since Copy Robot constantly moves around the arena. Yeah, it's the usual issue of Copy Robot will corner you, it's going to happen at some point. I considered every definition of rock I can think of, and none of them seem to fit this fortress. The backgrounds and a costume-dependent boss are a bit of a stretch if the title is meant to play on Rockman. I know I'm pedantic about the level titles, but I want to understand why I was promised a rock fortress and got an all-you-can-eat buffet of overused enemies and gimmicks. It's fortunate that the design here is quite confident, particularly with regard to learning curve. Challenge arcs and pacing, the lasers are perfectly timed, and the auto-scrolling section is comfortably frantic. This easily could have been a real Hey-May.
You learned the word "hey May" from a previous stage, and now it's showing up in future reviews. Flashman, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else.
Where the level falls short for me is creativity. I've been chased by lasers around empty rooms. Oh, hey, bueno, welcome, welcome. I have crossed large chasms via yoke blocks. I've stopped to clear Susie out of hallways before proceeding. I thought Metal Daddy and a standard boss chamber, too many assets live in isolation here. A number of professional touches help a great deal. Capcom quality aesthetics, solid construction, architecture with a coherent flow, and an unassuming text box that probably gets the credits out of the way. Yeah, it's like, just get in there, get it done. Boom. Challenges are consistently fair and reasonably far from the nearest checkpoint. Laser Dragon and Rush Jet only ruined part of the difficulty. Some trimming wouldn't hurt, but the level length is manageable. The first token, while admittedly a little inelegant, has a great puzzle slant. Visually and architecturally, I'm fond of the thick pillars in the area before the first lasers. The surprise lasers from the sky are a hoot. I can scarcely fathom going back to yoke block challenges without wall markings to guide me. It's surprisingly fun to be on the receiving end of this contest weapon roster. Oops. I too easily hit buttons sometimes. Only a handful of screens get me excited to play this, but I respect the polish. Yeah, this one's well polished. Two highlights, I like the boss and the auto-scrolling segment, but Unforgiving was a neat addition. The little fake-out with the yoke block introduced earlier in the stage made a devious return there, and the fact it was actually telegraphed earlier in the level was nicely done. The rest of the level was a store fest. What happened? The most generic enemies, gimmicks, the level had no identity to itself. It was just generic the level. These are gimmicks and enemies you combine with other gimmicks and enemies, because by themselves, they're not a theme. They're not an identity, they're just there. Even the tile set and music was generic until, hey! Not the music! No, music was good. Shut up. I respect your opinion. The stage was confident, but so boring overall. That said, I did enjoy the boss encounter. The Copy Robot returns in a rather fun fight. I wish you hadn't used the entire player arsenal, though, because frankly, the wire shield is rather unfair, and the lack of tells for a couple of the attacks could lead to one rather miffed if the wrong combination turns up. So, it's fun to fight, I'll give you that. Hey, I'll take just okay levels.
Just okay levels is a hell of a step up from the previous tier.
Make to hit the nail on the head for that one. Alright, that's gonna do it for me today, I think. We didn't exactly get a ton of levels done. There was one that was,
The reasoning for that one.
But yes, I'm gonna call it there. I need a nap.
It's been a long day already for me.
I had a lot of work to do this morning as well as the actual stream, so... I'm perfectly content with this one. This ended up going fairly well. But yes. If you enjoy the content, please give it a follow. It helps the channel grow. Gets those numbers going on up. We do succeed here on twitch.tv. On the YouTube side of things, give it a subscribe. You'll get the notifications as well. I'm gonna go get some rest. I'll probably be back on with some Paper Mario tomorrow. We'll see how I'm feeling. I'd say it's very likely, though. We finished up Chapter 4. We're into Chapter 5. Getting some good starts on there. We're gonna go hit the sail. We're gonna hoist the anchor and make our way over to Key Hall Key. In the meantime, though, I do want to thank you for watching once again, and I'll catch you next time. Until then.
This elevator music's gonna drive me crazy.